Hey guys, so in this video we're going to be going over taxons and naming. We're going to take a couple of notes and then go through a couple practice problems. So the first thing we're going to talk about is naming, specifically binomial naming nomenclature. So nomenclature just is a fancy way of saying naming, and then binomial, bi meaning two, just means that the name has two parts. So in taxonomy, right, we have very specific ways of how we name organisms so that scientists can all have a standard way to discuss these organisms. So this was developed by Linnaeus, and it's the names that are assigned have two parts, just like the binomial states. A couple of things about it. It's always written in italics. The first word is capitalized, specifically the first letter of the first word, and the second word is in lowercase. The first word represents the genus, and the second word is the species. It's always in Latin. To give you an example, us, our common name is humans, but our binomial nomenclature is Homo sapiens. Homo being the genus, and sapiens being the species. Anytime you see an italics name, you should be annotating genus and species. The other thing we're going to go over is Linnaeus' hierarchical system of classification that has 8 levels: domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, which you can remember by Duh, Katy Perry Can Only Fart Good Songs. These levels are based on physical similarities between organisms, and Linnaeus has ranked them from largest to smallest. That doesn't mean the size of the animals. It just means that domain contains the largest number of organisms, whereas species contains the smallest number of organisms, meaning it's the most specific. So each of these levels of classification is called a taxon. Let's go through a couple of examples. First thing I always do is bracket my question. It's asking me to predict the family that the autumn housefly Musca autumnalis would be classified. So this is in italics. I know it's a species name, so I'm going to annotate genus and species. You're going to see a lot of names that you've never heard of, and that's totally okay. I'm looking for the family that this organism would fit into. So is it most related to the cat, wolf, or fly? I know when organisms are most related, that means that they have the most taxons or levels of classification that are the same. It tells me the housefly has a genus and a species of these, so I'm going to see what that matches here. So I'm going to be focusing on these 2 rows. I see that it matches right here. The fly has the same genus as the autumn housefly, so I know it's most related to the fly. The question was asking me about the family. I know that my answer has to be one of these 3 things. Because it's most related to the fly, I know that it must be in the family of Muscidae, therefore my answer is D. Flip your page. Alright, our second question, I'm going to bracket it. It's asking me, how would the diagram below look different if the example were changed to F. sylvestris? Alright, I have no idea what this is talking about, so I'm going to go back. Since this diagram represents the classification of a grizzly bear, we're just looking at this classification in another way. So I see here this is grizzly bear, this is the species, so we're just looking essentially at an inverted pyramid. It says the cat, Felis sylvestris, so I'm going to label this genus and species, so this is just the scientific name for a cat. It is a mammalian carnivore of the family Felidae. So this is asking me, how would this change? So all I do is I match what I see here to what information they gave me about the cat. I know a cat is an animal, that's animalia, so we're good. Chordata just means it has a backbone or a spine. Cats definitely have a backbone or a spine, so that's a check mark, we're good. This means that, yes, this matches the cat. Mammalia is just, is it a mammal? And this tells me, yes, it is a mammal, so I put a check mark. The carnivore, it tells me it's a carnivore, which matches carnivora. Carnivora looks like carnivore. And then the family, it tells me it's Ursidae. However, in here, the family is Felidae. So I would draw an arrow to notate that this would change if my example changed. And then it tells me also the genus would change because the name here, the genus is Felis. And the species would also change to Sylvestris. Again, check marks mean this would not change if the example were changed. The arrows mean yes, they would be changed to these specific things. So now I go through. My answer has to include these 3 changes. It has to include all of them. All right, so answer choice A, the phylum would be changed to chordate. Well, no, that's false. That's staying the same. The genus would be changed to Felis. Yes. And the species would be changed to Sylvestris. Yes. However, I'm missing the family. Remember, my answer has to have all 3 things. So this would not be true. All right, the family would be changed to Felidae. The genus would be, yes, the genus would be changed to Felis, and the species would be changed to Sylvestris. I have all 3 things. This is my answer. What you are going to do is do all of the practice problems. So 3 through 8, make sure that you are annotating how I showed you, and you have to get this signed by me, and this is a grade. Feedback from me, as I look at your paper, I've listed here. So the check mark just means correct. All right, get started and have fun.